Hi everyone. In the last sessions, we have discussed what is testing and why testing is necessary. In today's session, we are going to discuss about testing principles. So let's see what are testing principles. Principles means generally it's the guidelines what we used to follow in any case. So here testing principle means principles are the general guidelines by using which all the testing activities are being performed. There should be some guidelines so that the testing will be smoother and faster and cost effective. So these are coming under principles. So let's discuss about 7 testing principles what we used to follow in our day-to-day activities. These are the 7 principles. The first principle is testing shows the presence, not the absence of defect. Exhaustive testing is impossible. Yearly testing saves time and money. Defects cluster together. Tests wear out. Testing is context dependent. Absence of defects fallacy. So let's discuss one by one. So the first principle is testing shows the presence, not the absence of defect. So let's discuss more on this. So no testing can prove there is no defect in the software. It can only show the presence of defects in it. So let's uh, take example of Jepto, what we discussed in the previous sessions. So the software what in the production we found this defect, add to cart defect. So no, before that the testing has been performed. So no testing can prove there is no defect. So there is no such methodology which can prove there is no defect and the software is 100% defect free. So it can testing in the process by which we can find defect. So this is the principle. Testing shows the presence, not the absence of defect. So no testing can perform the software 100% defect free. That is the principle. The second is exhaustive testing is impossible. So what is this? Testing of everything, that is called exhaustive testing. A to Z of the software we can't able to test. While testing there are few things what we have missed, that is the user requirement. So we can't say like testing of everything is possible. So testing of everything is not possible. Rather we can prioritize the test and we can approach some risk based testing by using which we can do the testing properly. So testing of everything is not possible. Test prioritization, that means we can prioritize the test cases based on their risk. So there are more risk based test cases, so that can be tested first compared to the low risk test cases. So that way we can prioritize the test case and the risk based testing can be used instead of this. The third is early testing saves time and money. Defects can be found early which will not cause any subsequent defect in the final work product, which saves time and money. Both static and dynamic testing can be performed as early as possible. So when we are doing requirement analysis or user story analysis or epic analysis or story grooming, in that time I am talking about few agile ceremonies. So what we can say, defect can be found early which will not cause any subsequent defect in the final work product. Suppose in the product analysis or design we found one defect, so the testing team can note it down and they can say it to the scrum master of the product owner. That way the requirement is not missed and we can save time and money if we won't find such kind of defects in the early stage. So then the development team will keep on developing the wrong product, and they will deliver the wrong software, and the defect will be found in the latter stage, which is not cost effective. So both static and dynamic testing can be performed as early as possible for this. The fourth is defects cluster together. So sometime what happens, one application is composed of bunch of components. Okay, a small number of components usually contains most of the defects which causes failure in the system. So each component should be tested thoroughly to avoid this. While testing, suppose we have missed one component to test, so that component, in the final stage of testing, we found that component contains all the major region of failures, major issues. So these components should be tested thoroughly to avoid this. The fourth is test wear out. So what is this means? Some same test cases should not be repeated many times. Suppose there is one login functionality. So the same test case will be repeated many times, 100 times for different kind of user. Instead, we can test it by using different test data and applying some automation techniques. So here what we can do, so we can do some negative testing, suppose wrong username and password or automation technique, so that we can save time in this login process. So that is called test wear out. The sixth is testing is context dependent. So what is this means? There should not be a single approach to all testing. It can be done differently based on the context. So there are two different applications. Suppose there is one banking application and there is one e-commerce application. So the same approach can be applied to these different kind of application. So testing completely depends upon the context, what we are going to test. So that is called context based testing. The seventh is absence of defects fallacy. So what is meant by defect fallacy? Fallacy means misconception. What we have discussed, like we can't test the software 100%. So there will be some missing from the testing team as well. Sometimes thoroughly testing requirement won't meet the business goal. For this, validation is necessary as verification in testing. So thoroughly testing, sometimes what if we know we have as a testing team, as per our as per the requirement of the software we have tested it, but what the end user needs, sometimes the end user goal varies from time to time. So they need, their expectation is something different. So at the end they will tell, this is not our expectation, you need to modify this is not the logo which we are expecting, this the color of the logo needs to be changed. So those kind of requirements, those kind of business goal, it won't meet. So for this, verification validation is necessary. So functional validation is necessary as verification in testing. So these are the 7 principles of testing. I hope everything is clear. So this is the section where I am asking if you have any queries, or if I need to improve something as part of presentation or anything. So you can question me on this. So if you have anything, you can send me in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer. So let's summarize what we had discussed today. There are 7 principles of testing. Principles mean general guidelines. So these are 7 principles. Testing shows the presence, not the absence of defect. Exhaustive testing is impossible. Early testing saves time and money. Defect cluster together. Test wear out. Testing is context dependent. Absence of defect fallacy. So these are 7 principles of testing. So friends, let's meet in another session. Till then, bye bye.